Hello, my friends. I am B, and this is B's Intuition. Today we're gonna do a reading. It's been a while since I've done a face reading, and that's purely because my microphones have been acting real silly. I might have to replace them, which is something. That's something. That's just something. So I'm hoping I'm gonna try and experiment with this one. See if like maybe the acoustics in this room are enough for you to hear me, rather than trying to make my microphone work when it just really doesn't want to. Anywho, the reading. So I had an idea, but because of my microphone malfunctioning like twice, because I tried to record twice that reading, and so I just kind of assumed that that was a cursed subject that maybe I'll try and do in the future. But for this one, I think maybe just keeping it simple. Let's do like, what's the gossip on you? What's the tea on you? What are people saying? And why are they saying that? Anyways, let's just dive right in, shall we? Please and thank you, Spirit. What's the tea on the collective? What are people saying? And why are they saying it? Who's talking about my collective around these pots? Okay. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's do it. Okay, so the first card that came out is the Five of Wands, the Page of Pentacles, and then we have the King of Cups, and then bottom of the deck we have the World card. Beautiful, beautiful energy. Actually, I don't know yet. The Five of Wands might be messy, but let's see. Let's just start by clarifying that Five of Wands, shall we? Please and thank you, Spirit. So what is that Five of Wands talking about? What is the tea on the gossip? The tea on the collective right now? What are people saying with that Five of Wands energy? Please and thank you, Spirit. What are they saying with this Five of Wands energy? About my collective. About the collective. Five of Wands. Alright, let's see. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Well then. Okay, so clarifying that Five of Wands, we have the Wheel of Fortune. After that, we have the Ten of Swords. And then after that, we got the Sun card. Hello. And then we have the Four of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups. And then bottom of the deck, we got Nine of Pentacles. So honestly, most of it's really good. And I'm surprised because we're clarifying the Five of Wands, which out of the three cards that came out, I would have assumed that that would have been the messiest, but okay. So what people are saying about you is that you're very lucky with the Wheel of Fortune. They feel like spirit is on your side or luck is on your side during this time. Could definitely be following a period of pain. Like the Ten of Swords, like that's a really intense energy. Maybe bad mental health. Or maybe you've just been going through it. Just a lot of things building on top of each other. So now it makes me think that maybe this Five of Wands isn't the drama around you so much as maybe it's internal conflict within you. Maybe this is something that people are talking about. That you may be sort of scattered. You may have inner conflict with yourself. Maybe a lack of clarity during this time. It does feel like there could be a mental health component to this. So maybe people are picking up on either you just went through a very difficult time, maybe mental health wise. That's what it feels like. Because well, maybe it is something that you're currently going through. But it really doesn't seem like it's going to be holding you back for very much longer, because we have the Sun card following that Ten of Swords. The Sun card is typically seen as the happiest card of the deck. A lot of positivity, a lot of light, a lot of brightness. You know what, actually, because the Sun and then the Four of Pentacles. So yeah, that Ten of Swords feels like past energy in the way of like, this is interesting. It almost feels like you went through a lot of trauma at one point in your life, probably multiple times in your life. We all do, right? And it almost feels like your circumstances since that point have changed. But with the Four of Pentacles, it's almost like, it's not even necessarily that you're holding on to that past or like stuck in the past. It almost feels like, it's almost like you're using the past as a blueprint for the future. And that's probably a very odd way of phrasing it. And not to say that like this is intentional, but it feels like this is on a subconscious level where it's like your past experiences being very painful, probably having a lot of betrayal. Maybe you did have people around you that were causing conflict at one point. And it feels like with that Four of Pentacles, this is you maybe potentially being quite guarded. It feels very much like, and this is something that I feel like I've been tapping into in general with the collective, is like this sense of self-isolation. And self-isolation can be a beautiful thing, very necessary sometimes. But it almost feels like an excess of isolation. To the point where Spirit might be trying to encourage you to go out of this, open up to people again. Because it's almost like you may expect people to treat you the way that people in the past treated you. And that may get you stuck and well, that's interesting. I almost said unhealthy, but what I was trying to say was unhappy. May keep you unhappy and lead to this sensation like, why am I unhappy? Because it even looks like luck's on your side, Spirit's on your side for sure. Divine timing could be at play for something. You could be coming into a good time, like into a time of good luck. And then the Sun card, it feels like, this is so interesting because it's almost like if you took a step back and looked at your life objectively, you could see how it has improved and that where you are is not where you have been. And it feels like you're actually on a really positive path, but it almost feels like you're afraid of something or like hesitant about something. And it feels like it's related to people. And maybe this is what you expect from people around you, causing conflict. Sometimes I see the Five of Wands as like petty drama. And so maybe you kind of expect that out of everyone, that they're bound to cause drama, that they're bound to be petty or, yeah, like stir up drama when there isn't any. And this feels like maybe that's part of the fear that is kind of controlling you on a subconscious level, that may be keeping you kind of to yourself, closed off to new things, new people. But it's interesting too, because I was just saying how I think Spirit really wants you to move out of that Four of Pentacles energy, and then the Knight of Cups follows that Four of Pentacles. And so there could be somebody coming in that is specifically coming in. Well, I think that there definitely could be a romantic component to that. But more than that, I think that this person is sent to you to help open you up and maybe specifically open up your heart. It is the Knight of Cups, the most romantic knight. So it does. It feels like this is somebody sent from Spirit, divine timing. And this person could actually make you very happy if you opened up to them. But it feels like, again, the past is still affecting you to some extent. And it's interesting too that at the bottom of the deck is the Nine of Pentacles. You may have been focusing on your stability recently, and this is how people see you, somebody that's quite independent. You may even give off the vibes of like somebody that doesn't want companionship or partnership, and it's because you may have been in that self-isolation mode for so long. Maybe you gained a reputation for being somebody that just doesn't care about like anyone. That sounds insensitive, but it's not that you don't care about anyone. It's just like you kind of just keep to yourself, even if that is unhealthy. That's kind of what I feel. But people are looking at you and seeing you in a very high light. They think that you have something going for yourself and you're going places in general. People see you as somebody that's quite stable, quite confident. Interesting. It's kind of like a little bit of like two different energies that you may embody. One where you're maybe a little bit fearful, and that's based off of past experiences. But then there's also this sense of confidence from you. But that could also be from experiences and what those experiences taught you about yourself, how strong you are, how capable you are to go through a lot of crummy situations. This could even be talking about that, like word on the street is that somebody is trying to connect with you, but you're closed off to them. It's interesting too that in these images, the Knight of Cups is pointing towards this person, and this person is looking over here, not even looking at the Knight of Cups. So for one, you may not see this person coming, but for two, this person probably has been paying attention to you, but feeling maybe that you're not paying attention to them. And maybe they know, if this is somebody that you know and maybe interact with, maybe they know that you've been maybe more focused on like work, building your stability, abundance, all of that. Ooh, so now I'm getting that this Five of Wands could even be this Knight of Cups, internal energy, feeling conflicted potentially inside. Like they know what they want, which is going towards you, but maybe they feel like you're like throwing like up like stop signs and but like in a non-straightforward way. That could be kind of how this person is reading you right now, is that you're just like either not interested in them or just not interested in people right now, potentially. And so maybe they have that inner conflict of like, I don't want to bother you, but also I have something that I want to share with you, which is probably feelings. This could be somebody that knows something about your backstory. That Ten of Swords. That's actually quite sweet, because now I'm picking up on that Knight of Cups energy being like, maybe this is somebody that literally wants to help you heal from your past of pain and suffering, which I think is quite sweet. This could be somebody that's very genuine, and it kind of seems like it with the Sun card. The Sun card would indicate that this is somebody that doesn't hide anything. They're very open and honest. What you see is what you get, kind of, with the Sun card, because it's illuminating everything. You can't really hide anything with the Sun card. So, but also there's the happiness component. So I think you make this person very happy. Maybe they make you happy too, but I'm not picking up so much on your energy. And that would make sense because I'm talking about what other people are saying. But yeah, you could make this person very happy, and they also want to be really transparent with you, very honest, very authentic. So it could be a word on the street that somebody's been trying to get your attention, trying to say something to you, and you've just been kind of in your own little world potentially, and either not aware of this or just not really caring. But again, this is from other people's perspectives of you. This may not be genuinely how you feel about the situation. It's interesting because at first when I looked at these cards, I almost got this feeling of like up and down in terms of maybe mental state or outlook, perspective. And at first I almost saw it as maybe a slightly chaotic energy, where like maybe you go up and down a lot. But now I'm seeing it as you're very balanced, which is interesting. So it's almost like even if you do have maybe extremes of emotions where you're super, super happy and then sometimes super, super sad, you may be balanced within that, or you try really hard to maintain a balance within that. And maybe that's what this person picks up on. Because it's almost like you don't let yourself stay stuck. Even when you are really going through it. Or at least that's what this person sees in you. Yeah. So it's almost like even, yeah, maybe you're somebody that genuinely feels your feelings, which is a very healthy, very necessary thing that a lot of humans, I feel like, don't either give themselves the opportunity to do, or they don't know how. But it feels like, when you're struggling, you allow yourself to feel that, and maybe you don't judge yourself because you know what you've been through. So you have compassion for yourself and how your brain is reacting to past trauma and maybe mental health issues as well. We all struggle from time to time, of course. There's something too. You could be working on a project with that Four of Pentacles, because I'm being very drawn to how this person looks so focused, and it's like he's focusing on the fire inside of that glass orb, I guess. And it feels like there's like a flame of creation, a spark of creation, something maybe that excites your passion. Or maybe that's something that you're looking for in your life. Something to spark your creativity, something to spark your passion. So in terms of love and romance, maybe that's kind of, why this Knight of Cups is coming in, to open you up a little bit, to maybe give you a little bit of that passion that you may have been feeling like you were lacking. But it does feel like people are seeing you as somebody that may be focused on a project. And maybe it has something to do... Oh, maybe the Wheel of Fortune could also be talking about that in due time, this project will be ready to be revealed, but maybe right now you're trying to keep it on the down low until it's ready to be presented. Or at least this is what people are thinking, is like you're so focused on the things that you have going on in your life that you kind of stick to yourself because you have a lot of stuff that maybe you've been working on. But it feels like this person kind of sees that it's not simply just you working on projects. I think that they also see that maybe you've been struggling. And maybe mental health wise, because that Ten of Swords, the swords can definitely be, those mental health struggles. And that feeling of maybe even being overwhelmed by the chaos inside of your brain. Which, if you're a creative person, or just somebody that thinks a lot, overthinks, your brain probably naturally kind of does that to you. So interesting, yeah. I'm also getting with that Ten of Swords in the Sun card. It feels like this is something about night and day. Night and day. Like the difference perhaps will be like night and day. So I feel like there's something about like good energy coming towards you that maybe you're not even aware of yet, but somebody knows. Or maybe this person is just either intuitive, or if this is a coworker of yours, maybe they know of like some sort of promotion that's in the works for you. Yeah. It does feel like this person is pretty certain that you are going places and where you're going is in a great direction. But they also have this awareness of the pain that maybe you go through. And it may be based on past experiences that have really hurt you. But you try really hard to overcome that. You don't stay stuck in that. I feel like you let yourself feel those feelings, but you don't maybe ruminate within them, or because you probably know from experience that, yes, I should feel these feelings and, validate that it's okay for me to feel these feelings. But also at the same time, I don't want to stay in this energy forever because, it's uncomfortable and, you got places to go, people to see. So, so it's like you let yourself feel, but you don't let yourself maybe sort of marinate in all of those nasty feelings. And it feels like someone genuinely wants to come in and like either help heal you or to express themselves to you. Yeah, and somebody's talking about that, I guess. Maybe it's just this person that's talking about this, because it almost feels like I'm getting a lot about this person in particular and their perspective of you. And so that makes me think that maybe it's this person that is talking about all of this to maybe a friend, maybe to somebody that they're asking advice, somebody that they trust, like, hey, this is kind of the energy I'm feeling on this person. What do you think? Should I go and pursue them, or do you think I should leave them alone? And maybe they're getting the advice that you should go for it, or they should, this Knight of Cups. Because it may even be somebody else's perspective that, based on what this Knight of Cups tells them, they may be able to kind of connect the dots that maybe this Four of Pentacles person, you, the collective, maybe it's not necessarily that you're closed off to everyone, but you're just closed off to painful experiences. And so maybe it's kind of like what you need almost is like companionship or somebody to trust, somebody to maybe, like, I don't know why, but I'm getting this sense of like renew your faith in people. So maybe that's kind of, maybe that's the advice that this person is getting. That like maybe you need, I guess need is such a strong word, but maybe it would help you to know that at least somebody is thinking of you, that somebody cares about you, that somebody sees you, and they see your struggle, but they also see your strength. It honestly even feels like, and it's not necessarily that you're insecure. I mean, we all have moments of insecurity, of course, but it almost feels like from this person's perspective, this Knight of Cups, this person may think that you don't see all of the wonderful things that you have going for yourself like they can see it. Like it's so much easier to see from an outside perspective all of these wonderful, like maybe talents, skills, abilities, or maybe this specific energy that you show up in. It's almost like This person may think that you don't know how great you are, at least from their perspective. And maybe that's part of this too, is that they really want to show you, like, hey, you're freaking awesome, and I want to let you know that. Especially if you've been struggling lately. Maybe they feel like it would be a nice message to receive. But it definitely feels genuine, and it feels like somebody that genuinely wants to make you happy. Yeah. And it feels like they're going to be conflicted, but eventually they will come forward, is what it feels like. Okay, let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. So we have that Nine of Pentacles. I think that you're definitely focusing on the things that will grant you physical stability, like, career, projects, stuff like that. Whatever you're building right now. And it also feels like you're kind of focused on a specific vision. It feels like you have goals that you want to achieve. And you're like holding on to this vision that you have in your mind. It feels almost like you're trying to sort of block out the outside world, but in a way of like, I don't want distractions. But again, some people may perceive that as like, oh, they don't want any distractions. But maybe you're like, for the right people, I could use a distraction here and there, in terms of like healthy relationships that I enjoy. You just don't want the BS. And I feel like that's totally valid. Let's see what's underneath that Nine of Pentacles. The Empress. Well then. Damn, you're glowing up here. See? This person sees how far you're gonna go, even if you're not currently at this place of the Empress. So something that's really funny, a lot of people refer to the Nine of Pentacles as the pre-Empress. So that's very interesting. It's very interesting that the Nine of Pentacles came first and then the Empress. As if to indicate that you start, well, I feel like this isn't necessarily where you're starting from. I feel like this is you having gained a lot of experience and stability along the way, but that's just the beginning of your success. And this is the outcome of your success, I guess. Like, the more you go down this path, this person really admires you. They may even see themselves as lesser than you, because they are showing up as the Knight of Cups here. And they're seeing you as the Empress. So they could be younger than you. Or maybe they feel less experienced than you. Maybe you have more life experience than this person. Or maybe they feel like you kind of have your shit together, so to speak, but more than they do, potentially. I don't know how accurate that is, but maybe from their perspective, that's how they're seeing you. It almost feels like there's like a sense of general direction that you have that maybe this person struggles with. Because it feels like with that Five of Wands, they've been struggling internally. So they may doubt themselves from time to time, whereas maybe they feel like you don't really doubt yourself as much. Again, doesn't have to be real life, but rather just their perspective of you. Interesting. Let's see what's underneath that Empress. Ace of Wands. So the manifestation, it feels like that could be referring to you manifesting a future that it's almost like you dreamt this up and now you're going to make it a reality. And that's what this person is seeing. Yeah, this person could see you as being self-made. It all started with an idea. It all started with like a dream, a vision. And you were the one to bring this down to earth. And that's what this person thinks that you are doing here. You're manifesting the life that you want. You've already created a vision and you're bringing it down to earth and making it a reality. And I feel like that's very impressive to this person. Yeah. They like that. They love the creativity that you have. And the Empress is all about creation. Typically seen as pregnant, but when you think about just any sort of creation in terms of creativity, maybe projects and stuff. You may have a lot of good ideas. And almost like, well, especially from their perspective, they think that everything you touch turns to gold because you have really good ideas and you know how to execute them in a way that gets results. That's what they see. Whether you feel that way or not about your own life, that's another thing. But very nice. Okay. That's a beautiful way to start the reading, right? Okay, let's go into the Page of Pentacles now. Please make it spirit. Oh, okay. What is the question? What is the T on the collective with that Page of Pentacles energy? What are people saying? What are people saying about the collective with that Page of Pentacles energy? Okay, so let's see. Okay. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Huh. Well then. Okay, so clarifying that Page of Pentacles, we have the Three of Wands came out in the reverse. It was the one that popped out first and kind of like slid down my leg. Almost fell on the floor, but didn't. Interesting. And then we have the Four of Swords, Ace of Swords, Ace of Pentacles, Queen of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, and then the King of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Interesting. So, okay, now I'm seeing that Three of Wands in the reverse. Somebody may be saying that you don't see something coming. You don't see something coming. Could be a new beginning in terms of investing into something because it is the Page of Pentacles. They could be viewing you as the Page of Pentacles. Maybe you recently started to work on something or started to invest into something. And maybe you see yourself as a page, but maybe that either is changing for you, or maybe you just haven't recognized that you've already grown in this role potentially. But it feels like with the Three of Wands in the reverse, it feels like something is going to catch you off guard. You didn't see it coming, you didn't expect it, but it feels like it could definitely be positive for some reason. I mean, the cards that came out are pretty positive, to be honest, but all right, so yeah, it feels like something is going to catch you off guard. And the rest of the cards that came out, the first one that came out, well, other than the Three of Wands in the reverse, Four of Swords. And the Four of Swords is usually like a period of resting or just, you know, keeping to yourself, trying to care for yourself. Sometimes I see it as like, you know, recharging your battery. So you may have been in this period of self-isolation, maybe trying to take things interesting. I don't know why, but I'm getting take things slowly. But I meant to say you may be trying to take things easily right now. And maybe it's simply because not a lot is like changing from your perspective, or yeah, like something, it could be that something in your life is sort of at a pause. And so you kind of have to wait it out until something kind of happens. And I know that sounds very vague, but that's kind of what I'm picking up on. Like something could be in the works, but not quite where you want it to be yet. Or maybe you're waiting on somebody else, or maybe some sort of information outside of yourself, and you just have to wait for that person to communicate with you, or that information to come to light. So you might kind of be in a rest mode when something comes in for you. And it does feel like there could be a new beginning here with that Ace of Pentacles and the Ace of Swords there. But it's interesting. So the Ace of Swords came first and then the Ace of Pentacles. So it feels like maybe somebody's coming in with a conversation to illuminate something. Maybe it is the information that you've been waiting for. Or maybe it's just something else that you don't expect. And then the Ace of Pentacles could be an offer of like having some sort of new investment here, build something here. And then after that Ace of Pentacles, we have the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups could technically be the person that's offering this to you, but I don't think so. I feel like the person that's offering this to you is this King of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Because it feels like this is somebody that may be kind of waiting to give you a message or waiting to say something to you, but maybe waiting for the right moment. So it could be that, you know, word on the street is that maybe you don't see anything going anywhere, or you don't see something going anywhere, but somebody else knows that you will. And maybe they're like, oh, the collective has no idea what's about to hit them, but it's positive is what it feels like. And the Queen of Cups, to me, almost feels like this is a, well, it feels like this is you for some reason. And by that, I mean, this could be, this new beginning could involve your kindness, your pure heart, your pure intentions. Your emotional side is very important, or maybe this is something that makes you very happy, fills your cup, so to speak, and helps you to feel really good about your future, because after that Queen of Cups, we have the Ten of Pentacles. And that is that happy home, happy life sort of energy. A lot of abundance, stability, everything you could want. Family, even if that's something that you want. Generational wealth, even. So maybe this even helps kind of change your outlook. Yeah, because if you think about it, if you're starting out in that Four of Swords energy, which kind of feels like a snoozy sort of energy, like taking a nap, and then this offer comes in and it wakes you up, and maybe it excites you, it opens your heart up, something that kind of like, yeah, it feels like it's going to be emotionally fulfilling for you, and it's going to change your outlook on your own future. Because at one point, maybe you thought you were stuck and nothing was ever going to go anywhere. But then suddenly something moves, and then you're feeling really good and you're looking towards the future in a very positive, optimistic way. And you see how far this thing can go. And then after that Ten of Pentacles, we have the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups, well, it can do with confusion, but I'm not really picking up that. It feels more so like whatever is taking place here, you see that it's going to open up doors for you. And those doors may lead you to this Ten of Pentacles sort of energy of just like having, you know, what feels like, you know, living out your dreams, having everything you could want. Being very contented. Yeah. Interesting. So it's almost like somebody knows that somebody is planning something to maybe offer you some sort of new beginning, position or something. And they know that it's going to lead you to really awesome places. And so it's almost like somebody's saying like, ooh, the collective's going to be so happy when this happens. You know, that's so interesting. As I was saying that, it almost felt like maybe even your spirit guides are saying this. This could be some spiritual tea. Ooh, especially if you have been kind of struggling. Maybe this is like your spirit guides maybe trying to come through this message to give you a sense of reassurance that things aren't always going to be stuck like this. things are about to get moving potentially. And maybe once things get moving, it's going to be go, go, go. And so Spirit knows that, and Spirit's telling you right now to rest because you're going to need it for whatever this exciting new chapter is opening up for you. So it definitely could be like spirit guides. And they're talking amongst themselves and they're really excited for you here. Because, well, it would make sense, yeah, if it was spirit guides, because they can see the future. So they see exactly how this is going to play out for you. So they probably are very excited for you. That's actually quite sweet. I like that message a lot. And that would also make sense, like why they know that you don't expect this. Could even be something where it's like, you think you're just a guppy, but you've grown so much. You've come so far is what I want to say. And I feel like that's part of this, is almost like it could be something that is offered to you that you didn't think you were prepared for, but you actually are like the perfect fit. That could be another message from Spirit, trying to reassure you that when this comes in, it's actually meant for you. Because maybe you're even going to be a little bit, caught off guard, and maybe your first instinct is to be like, well, am I even ready? Or, I wasn't expecting this, like I haven't prepared, but it feels like this wouldn't be offered to you if you were unprepared or if you weren't the right fit. So I feel like there's something about trusting that this is meant for you and that this is going to take you some very beautiful places. And on the other hand, if we're talking about 3D people that could be talking about this, it feels like this King of Swords may be talking about this. Like they have something that they want to offer you, something that they want to tell you, offer you, and that you're like the perfect fit for this. And they maybe know how far it's going to take you and what is possible if you chose to accept this opportunity for investment here. And it feels like, you start out just with one little pentacle, you build it up to 10. And I feel like you're probably that type of person, that you take something and you multiply it because you have that natural abundance within you. You're a naturally very abundant person. Like it's in your energy. And it may come from your confidence or at least your awareness of self. Gives very much Empress energy, taking one pentacle, turning it into 10 pentacles. And I feel like that's such a feminine trait as well. Like the Empress, that is typically depicted as being pregnant. The whole idea of like, taking cells, I guess, to try and put it very PG, taking cells and turning that into a living being, incubating it until it's an actual living thing. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that amazing? So I feel like then maybe you're even embodying that energy more so, where you're like, I can take this and make it this because I'm just that good. Well, maybe you don't see it like that, but other people definitely do. Because it feels like there's something about your energy that is very rich, very abundant, like high class almost. Well, I don't like to say that because that's very classist and I don't know how to feel about that. But, regal. Maybe that's the energy I'm trying to say. It's like it's like you just know who you are. You know what you're willing to put up with, what you're not. You know what you're worthy of, what you're not. And so it's like, that is such a strong energy to embody. And I feel like it's going to take you some really good places. This King of Swords probably sees it. And the King of Swords is all about communication, so feels like it's going to be this King of Swords coming in with communication to offer you something here. New beginning. And it's interesting too that the crown is around these swords, so it could be something about what's been on their mind, maybe in relation to this new beginning with you. Maybe they could even explain kind of why you're such a good fit for this thing. Definitely could be like a job position, but not necessarily. Because sometimes well, a lot of the time, the Ten of Pentacles can be seen as like that home life that you're building. And typically there's like a family involved in all of that. So you maybe something starts out as something maybe a little bit more platonic, but maybe it builds to something that is very long lasting, very healthy, you know, builds up to maybe your ideal life. And at like maybe when this is like first getting started, you don't see that yet, but the more you go along, you're like, okay, I see spirit. Like spirit's just like leading you down this really cool path here. And you're going to pick up on it fast is what I feel. Especially because the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups is going to be hella intuitive. So definitely trust your intuition. Let's see what's underneath that King of Swords. Nine of Wands. Okay. So this feels like this is somebody that sees that you've been through a lot, but you're very strong in the way of like, yes, you've been through many battles, but you haven't given up. And I feel like that's making an impact in someone's perspective of you. Maybe that's another reason why you're so perfect for whatever this is that they're offering you. This role or whatever it is that you're going to be potentially investing in. Because of course you have free will, right? But it could be something about your strength of spirit, something about your backstory that is part of why this person thinks you're a good fit for this thing. And it could be that you've gone through a lot of harshness, a lot of pain and unfair treatment, but yet you don't stay in that energy. You show up as a very loving person with that Queen of Cups. So it's almost like you are not a reflection of your past, because you try very hard to show up in this loving, caring energy. Maybe very supportive as well. And that could be all part of like why this King of Swords wants you to, you know, be a part of this thing. Let's see what's underneath that Nine of Wands. Five of Cups. Yeah, you've experienced a lot of disappointment. Maybe currently you're going through some period of disappointment. Things may be looking kind of bleak right now. You're having a hard time seeing things positively, thinking about things optimistically. But yet you still don't give up with that Nine of Wands. But yeah, there's something maybe about like a disappointment. Could be in love, could be just in general. But this person may be aware that you've faced some sort of disappointment. You faced a lot of unfair treatment. And now they want to come in and offer you this new investment opportunity because they feel like you're the ideal fit. It almost even feels like where you were before wasn't fully appreciating you. And now this person wants to step in to give you something that will actually appreciate you, if that makes any sense. So like in terms of a career, maybe like like a work environment just took advantage of you, took you for granted, put a lot on your plate, and you know, never acknowledged all of your hard work, never really paid you, you know, a reasonable amount that would actually be, you know, aligned with your worth and all of the hard work that you invest. Because it also feels like with that Queen of Cups, you care so much. So like anything that you focus on, you just pour yourself into. Because you're just so heart like led, and this is such a beautiful thing. and also intuition led as well. So I feel like this sense of like, you just really give everything your all, especially if it means something to you. And that's part of what makes you such a beautiful person, and probably what makes you an ideal fit for whatever this is. This new opportunity here. Wow. This is so interesting that this whole reading has been really positive. And maybe, okay, maybe I think I see. Because maybe if you've been in self-isolation for some time, it could be that nobody has anything bad just because you just haven't been around. So that kind of makes sense, I guess, because I've been picking up on that isolation energy. So maybe you've just been sticking to yourself so much that people have nothing bad to say because you're literally never around for them to notice bad things or for you to do things that they don't agree with or whatever, or for them to judge you. You've been so, yeah, you've just been kind of in your own little world, kind of, to yourself, focused on your own things, and just haven't been maybe very social. So maybe a lot of people, and that's probably why it's more positive gossip, because people just haven't really found anything to really criticize about you because you kind of just keep to yourself. Yeah. But it definitely feels like there's some good things coming towards you. But it's almost like you don't know this yet. And so it makes me feel like, is spirit a part of this? This feels almost like spiritual tea on you. Spiritual gossip. Spirit gossip. It feels almost like your spirit guides talking to one another about the great things that are coming your way. I like that though. It feels really positive and like encouraging. So I definitely could be tapping into somebody that really needs these messages, because that could also be, spirit trying to give you the good messages to give you encouragement, especially if you've been needing that recently. So maybe this is all, well, the thing is about tarots, I always feel like even if a tarot reading doesn't go in the direction that I thought it would, it's still like what spirit wants, And I feel like even if it doesn't make sense in that moment, I typically try to trust in spirit, like that these messages showed up for a reason, even if it doesn't quite make sense with the theme that I was trying to make the reading. So it could literally be spirit trying to really like give you some really good encouragement, like things aren't always going to be this bleak. Things aren't always going to be this boring. Things aren't always going to be stuck and stagnant. There's some really exciting stuff on the horizon for you here. So definitely just try your best to keep this in mind, especially in those moments where you're kind of struggling and feeling like, oh, everything's bleak, everything's depressing, which it's so easy to get into that mood, especially this time of year, But it feels like spirit really wants to encourage you, because I feel like spirit's plotting on you, and they're plotting something real good. So keep that in mind. Okay, let's go into the King of Cups now. Clarify that. Please and thank you, spirit. What is the gossip on the collective? And what does it have to do with this King of Cups here? Please and thank you. Maybe this King of Cups is talking about the collective. Please and thank you. What is going on? What is going on here with this King of Cups and all the chit chat? I'm gonna do one more shuffle because I felt like maybe something else needed to come out. Okay. Alrighty. Oh my god. Excuse me, sorry. I'm a wee bit tired, but this time of year is just very tiring in general. So please bear with me. Okay. Clarifying that King of Cups, we have the Six of Pentacles, Two of Cups, Three of Cups, the Justice card, Two of Swords, And then the bottom of the deck, we got that beautiful Empress again. So I think you're headed towards becoming this Empress. I'm just saying that's been a very strong message coming through in this reading. But like, do you see these wonderful cards? Like, sure, the Two of Swords is there, but like, look at that. Would you just look at that? Look at all that beauty. Look at all those good vibes you got going on there. Wow. So, I think somebody may be in love with you. I'm just saying, because we got 2 cup cards and we're clarifying the King of Cups. And this person's probably viewing you as the Empress, so you're probably like this person's dream person. But it's interesting because I feel like something could be going really well with this King of Cups, but it may get you caught up in your head. Or maybe that's what this person thinks will happen, that you will be confused if they were to come forward, because it feels like what they want is to be in a equal give and take sort of dynamic with that 6 of Pentacles. Also, balance and reciprocal energy is huge with the 6 of Pentacles, 2 of Cups, and the Justice. That's a lot of balance. That's a lot of equal give and take, healthy connections, healthy dynamics where both of you are giving equally. Nobody's overgiving, nobody's overtaking. Just good flow, harmony, balance, bliss. That's what I'm getting. But yeah. And it's funny because it's like they want this equal give and take dynamic, and you know, that alone, like that statement is kind of vague, right? But the thing is, I think what they may even try to start it off as something that's like very platonic, but it's like they feel the feelings for you. Even if they don't say this outright at first. It feels like, but maybe it's something that they wish to build up to this 2 of Cups, you know? Because maybe the two of you still need to get to know each other. Maybe there are certain things that you still need to learn about one another. And maybe test sort of some compatibility and chemistry. But it's like once that takes off, it feels like it's going to go to that 2 of Cups. And the 3 of Cups too can also be a card of like starting something out maybe as friends. Building up that friendship dynamic first. But it's interesting how we go from 2 of Cups to 3 of Cups. And I typically like to see that when it's the same suit and it's like escalating in numbers, like 2 to the 3, because that tells me of like forward motion, forward movement, progression, typically positive progression. So I wonder if this could be positive progression for you, but it also could be positive progression for this King of Cups, especially if this King of Cups has been thinking about offering you something for some time. Maybe they've been mulling it over for some time, and the 2 to the 3 of Cups could be them kind of like moving that plan along, not just kind of being stuck within, you know, brainstorming mode, but actually trying to take action on that. And maybe putting the things in place in order for them to take action. So it could be even things happening behind the scene that you don't see, but are actually going to ensure a smooth transition for the 2 of you potentially. Oh, maybe that's what this is talking about. The 3 of Cups could be that you know each other through community, or maybe like friends, or like the circles that you have in your life with other people. But it also feels like you make this person happy. This person probably makes you very happy. And the 2 of Cups is like reciprocal energy, so either they know that you have feelings for them too, or they're really hoping that you do. Especially because it feels like the two of you have such a strong connection. It feels like on this person's end, they're like, please have feelings for me too. Please have the same sort of feelings for me. So maybe this person is like very hopeful that you share the same feelings, but they could be nervous at the same time and be like, but what if they don't? But that could just, that could just be their fear, not literally what's happening. And then after that Three of Cups, we have the Justice card. So it's like, whatever you engage with when it comes to this King of Cups, whether this is work, whether this is romance, whether this is a friendship that lasts a lifetime, like it's going to be really good. I feel like that Justice card is here to assure you that if you were to go down this path, it's not going to do anything bad to you. Which, we were kind of picking up on, like maybe due to past experiences, you're not expecting that. But it feels like this Justice card is here to reassure you that maybe this is even good karma coming around for you. Like this is intentional. This is intended for you. And maybe it's like perfect timing too. And there's just this overall sense of being balanced, reciprocal, equal give and take. This is going to be a very fair connection. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot. You were showing up as the Queen of Cups earlier, and we're clarifying the King of Cups. So yeah, the two of you could really hit it off, especially emotionally. Maybe the two of you are both spiritual or very intuitive. Ooh, that makes it very interesting. So yeah, maybe it's like you're balanced in many ways, not just in terms of actions, not just in terms of like who's giving, who's taking, but you're equal on maybe multiple levels. Like the two of you like really get along on like multiple levels, not just romantically. You may have a lot of things in common, and maybe that's kind of what strengthens this connection. Oh. So it feels like if you engage with this offer that they're going to be offering you, it's like, how do I word this? Oh, it's so beautiful though. The Two of Cups. So maybe it's like, okay, you may notice pretty quickly that you have feelings. They may have feelings for you, from your perspective, and the two of you are really hitting it off. But maybe you're like, okay, it's just a crush, There's not really anything super significant about this yet. But it's like the more you get to know each other, the Three of Cups could be indicating that you establish that friendship as well as that stable foundation that you build together and that romantic aspect as well. So it almost feels like the more you get to know this person, the more you see how compatible you are. And maybe that, the two of you are actually very similar. You don't have to be complete copies of one another necessarily, but it feels like overall you're going to have this really beautiful connection where the two of you just like, you just get each other. That's what it feels like. It's like that kind of like coming into contact with somebody that you don't feel like you have to force things with. It just flows very naturally. The two of you may just naturally sort of be vulnerable with one another. You both kind of feel safe with one another. And it feels like this is all intentional, all part of the plan here. And it's going to be something very beautiful for you. Honestly, that Justice card feels like Spirit's perspective of this connection. I feel like it's almost like Spirit's trying to come in here to be like, this is the connection you should be in. Not like your exes maybe or whatever. So maybe Spirit's trying to even reassure you that this is actually meant for you and it's actually going to be really good for you after some time of things not being very good for you. So it almost feels like this Justice card is Spirit coming through to be like, yes, it is as good as it seems. Because you may even think like, You know, I'm not used to people treating me this well. I'm not used to people just being kind. I'm not used to people being genuine. I'm not used to getting along with my partners in ways that are not romantic. You know, you're kind of like questioning things. You're like, because that's kind of what I feel like with that Two of Swords energy is like, I don't know. Because, yeah, because especially if you haven't like engaged with anybody romantically in a while, or you just have had really not super great experiences romantically, it's almost like the feelings could spark anxiety within you, and then that may cause you to overthink. So Spirit probably really wants you to not go into that mode. Spirit may be trying to prevent you from going into this mode because they don't want you to self-sabotage this, because it's something that could be really, really good for you. So don't listen to your fear. Don't listen to your overthinking. Listen to your intuition and what Spirit wants, or what Spirit is guiding you towards. And of course, we all have free will, so you don't have to take this, you know, situation if that's not something that you think you can handle or that you want. And that's perfectly okay too. But it feels like Spirit really wants to reassure you that this is actually meant for you. You don't have to read too much into it. And that's maybe something too. You're not used to being able to put your guard down. You're not used to engaging with somebody that has maybe no red flags, maybe very minimal red flags. And you're just like over here like, you must be hiding something. But I really don't feel that. It feels very transparent, very real. And just, again, the Justice card feels like Spirit coming in to be like, this is what we want for you here. Like, don't doubt this. This is one of your blessings. This is so interesting. It almost feels like this reading should be called like, what are your incoming blessings? Because that's what it feels like. You know, it's so positive. I was not expecting this for a gossip reading. I did not expect this at all. But this King of Cups could also be thinking that this is going to be you if they come forward to offer you this. That they maybe they know you to some extent, where it's like they know that maybe you tend to overthink, or that you have a hard time making decisions sometimes, or maybe that you struggle with anxiety, and so, or doubt, and but maybe that's why this person doesn't start off diving into the deep end of like, I love you, or like, you know, I'm, you know, interested in you romantically. Maybe they know like your brain, you know, and what your brain tends to do to you. At least to an extent, they kind of understand that. And so maybe this Six of Pentacles to start it off is just them trying to establish something with you that may at first seem completely platonic. Yeah, may not even indicate that there's anything romantic yet. But it's like they may feel like they kind of have to do that in a way to kind of make you comfortable, because it feels like you may shut them down, or at least they think that. They may think that you would shut them down if they came forward with romantic feelings right off the bat. Because you may also have been somebody that experienced love bombing in the past, where people kind of filled your head with a bunch of, you know, kind words and compliments and all these things, future faking, all that. And so now you're like, I don't know, if somebody comes forward and tries to express their romantic feelings to me, that could be a red flag. This feels like somebody that's very mindful, and they're very much trying to consider your perspective in all of this. And that feels like another way that this is going to be incredibly balanced, because it's not just you trying to anticipate this other person's responses to things, but this person will also be trying to anticipate your responses. And I feel like that is something that you're not used to, especially in romantic relationships. It almost feels like you've been starved of this sense of consideration, which is so sad. But it's like, this is also explaining why this is going to be such a healthier, such a, yeah, such a, like a much more healthier dynamic than whatever you had in the past. So definitely don't listen to your doubt, and don't let yourself overthink this, because this is really beautiful and I think it's exactly meant for you. See, like this feels like this is almost like a message from spirit to reassure you. This whole reading is like there's really good things on the horizon. So if you're feeling bummed out right now, you're not going to be for very much longer. Good things are coming. So keep your chin up, buddy. Uh, then the Empress, of course. I think that this is definitely how that King of Cups sees you. Again, like earlier with that Knight of Cups, this could be somebody that views you a little bit higher than themselves. Could be younger than you again, but very slightly if they're the king and you're the empress. But they still kind of put you up there a little bit. And again, that kind of, I don't know. Like, I feel like when we have like romantic relationships and they, you know, we have these crushes and we're starting out liking somebody, I feel like most of us kind of tend to put that other person on a pedestal. But it feels like this is a person that's very self-aware. So I don't think that they're going to get carried away with it. Like, oh, you're just so perfect and you're like a god and I'm just so undeserving. No, I don't think it's necessarily that, but they definitely look up to you. I think they definitely admire you. They think that you're an incredible person. And the Empress, like, you're probably this person's exact type. They may even think that you're too good to be true, to be honest. So that's kind of funny. The both of you kind of have that sensation when you interact with one another. Like, this feels too good to be true. So the both of you kind of is like that Spider-Man meme where it's like they're pointing at each other like, you. You're me. But anyways, so I just accidentally bumped off the Empress card. And underneath is the Page of Swords. This King of Cups has been watching you for some time. They've been observing you. They could be observing your work, or like who, it almost feels like who you are. They've been observing who you are. So maybe they see how you interact with other people or something. It almost feels like observation in that way, where it's like, maybe they thought that you were too good to be true at first, so maybe they kind of had to like pace themselves at first and kind of feel you out a little bit and be like, let me see how they interact with other people. But the thing is, the Empress, she knows how to interact with other people. She's also very humble. And because if you think about the historical significance of the Empress, while the Emperor is out there doing battles and, you know, political adversaries and political alignments and all of that they have to figure out, the Empress, on the other hand, is all about the people, and she kind of has to be, because the Empress is the one that kind of lets the people know that the Emperor and the Empress support them. So she's going to be talking to everyone, not just who's important, quotation marks, according to society, but she's going to talk to the everyday man, woman, child, and show up in a way that shows that she truly cares. Because, you know, you think about the historical, I'm a history nerd, so like I'm thinking of like the historical context of like what happens when leaders don't do that. That kind of work where they work with the public and reassure them like, hey, I see you, I'm taking your criticisms into mind, consideration, and, you know, the kind of person that would show up to maybe a poor neighborhood and hand out food is what I'm getting. But anyways, that's like more the historical context of the Empress. And so, but pretty much the thing that would happen if they don't do that, like why the Empress is role is so important and integral, really, in terms of the emperor being on his throne. But yeah, in terms of like the emperor being on his throne, like she is playing just as important of a role, just in a different way. And she's also, through her kindness, through her showing up in this way that is very diplomatic and caring for everyone, caring for the people, it helps to keep her husband's role secure. Because if you don't do that kind of stuff when you're a leader of, you know, a great empire, or I'm trying to think of what it's called when it's a king. They're, I don't know, they're reigning land, the land in which they reign over. Anyways, the, you know, the people will uprise, and yeah. There will be an uprising of people if the Empress does not embody that role of being that um, of being that personable. Um, and she, yeah, like her role helps support her husband. And that's kind of why the two of them kind of have to work together, or they kind of have to be more than just one person. They have to embody both roles because they both play their part. And they both contribute to this empire in some way. And keeping the people happy keeps them happy, keeps them in their role. And, you know, it's a sort of like an ecosystem. It's sort of like a copacetic dynamic where everybody benefits. But yeah, Page of Swords. So yeah, they've been watching you for some time. They may be quite impressed with what they see, especially if they've been seeing how you interact with other people. They're like, ooh, I like that. Especially because they see you as somebody that's on a pedestal. So if you wanted to, you could act stuck up. You could act like, oh, your shit don't smell, and like, you know, nobody has anything on me, and I don't need to prove myself to anyone, blah, blah, blah. But you're not like that. You're very humble. You're down to earth. You care. And that's so important for the Empress to care. Anyways, so this person sees that. They like that. They're curious about you. They want to learn more. Let's see what's underneath that Page of Swords. Five of Swords. Very interesting. Oh. Maybe they know something about your backstory. You've been through many battles again, like we were talking about earlier. But more than that, it feels like you've been on the receiving end of a lot of ugliness. A lot of people put you through it. And I think that this King of Cups sees that, or at least maybe they gauge that through how they interact with you. Again, this could be somebody intuitive, or somebody that's just very like aware, or maybe very good with like maybe psychology or human behavior. Like they kind of can read between the lines. But it feels very much like you have not had it easy, and yet you still show up as this Empress, full of power, abundance, and just kindness. You're just a beautiful person, like very beautiful, like all around, especially in this person's eyes. Wow. And if the Knight of Cups and the King of Cups are two separate people, that means that you're being perceived as this Empress by many people. So even if you don't see yourself as the Empress, other people see you as the Empress, and they're very impressed. And they like it. People could be falling for you, left, right, and center. People are falling for you. But it also could be that the Knight of Cups could be the King of Cups, just as at a different stage, potentially. But it could be two separate people at the same time, two people that are very much in their feelings about you. So keep that in mind too. Bottom of this deck is the World card. So that is even more beautiful because that's Spirit coming through to say that any painful period that you've been going through, any heaviness, any, lack of movement, anything that has been keeping you feeling disappointed and bummed out, that's coming to an end. And what's opening up is a new cycle in which you're going to be incredibly powerful and acknowledged as such and respected as such. You're going to actually be, you will be the Empress because everybody's going to treat you like that, pretty much. Okay, let's see. What's underneath that World card? The Hermit. So, that self-isolation energy. I think it did serve you at some point, but maybe it's time for that to kind of shift and for you to move out of that self-isolation energy now that the time is right. Underneath that, the Star. See, like you're going to be shining like a star. You're going to be standing out. You're going to get a lot of attention. So maybe that's also part of why it's important for you to move out of this self-isolation mode, is like getting a lot of attention all at once. You may be overwhelmed. You may get overwhelmed at first, but it's almost like you're meant for this role. Like you were meant to embody this Empress energy. And it's going to lead you great places. And it's all in Spirit's, like this is all intended for you by Spirit. Spirit knows that all of this is coming and has intended all of this for you. So there's something about trusting in the process there. Okay, let's break out the Oracle and see what that has to add to this. Please and thank you, Spirit. Anything to add to this beautiful reading for the collective? Any advice, anything that you think the collective could use, either related to this or just in general? Because sometimes it just gives us advice. And sometimes it doesn't always. Actually, a good amount of the time it does line up with the reading, but I try to not force it too much. Okay. So the first card that came out is Lavender, and this represents tranquility, kindness, and self-care. Ooh. So Spirit definitely wants you to lean into, first off, stress management, because it is lavender. Doing things to help ease your anxiety, help ease your stress, that's probably very important during this time, especially as you're preparing for this glow up. Tranquility, kindness, and self-care. Spirit really wants you to embody that tranquility, that kindness, but for yourself. I feel like you embody that, especially we've seen here that you embody that energy for other people, but it feels like Spirit specifically wants you to do, or to rather focus that onto yourself. Especially if you feel like you've been maybe a little bit neglecting that, or you've just been very stressed out, or you've been distracted. It's a good time to really lean into that, I think, because Spirit really wants you to take care of you. And it would make sense if you're coming into some sort of big transformation here. It's going to be difficult to adjust at first, so get as much rest as you can before the excitement comes in. Oh my gosh, these are beautiful cards. And then the next card that came out is Fruit. This represents achievement and success. I can't make that up. Spirit is definitely trying to reassure you that you are going to achieve, you're going to be successful. It's almost like Spirit already sees you as a success. It's just a matter of you seeing it too. It's so unfortunate that, when you're a human living in a human society, there are only certain things that are considered successful, and other things are not considered successful. And it has little to nothing to do with your contentment of that thing. So you could literally achieve ultimate happiness, ultimate bliss, and entire enlightenment within your lifetime, and people are still going to point at that and be like, that's not real success. What's real success is having a nice car. What's real success is having a mansion. It's just like, but does that make you happy though? Does that truly fulfill you? Does that keep you warm at night? That sports car? I don't know. That's just me personally. But I feel like Yeah, I think that spirit feels this sense of like, they want you to recognize how successful you are because they already see that in you. And I think a lot of other people see that in you as well. So definitely start to embody that, believe in that. And then the next card that came out is Summer. This represents expansion and growth. I think you've been growing quite a bit on your journey here, and I feel like you're going to see the payoff of all of that growth. Yeah. And then the other card that came out, the last card that came out, is Spring. This represents rebuilding, awakening, and rebirth. Ooh. Interesting. Spring and summer could be significant seasons for you. Rebuilding, awakening, rebirth. So this almost feels like that World card. Like you're closing out one cycle and you're beginning a new one. And this feels like the start of that new cycle. You're starting to rebuild things, probably in a new, different way. You're awakening to this new life, new lifestyle. Rebirth. You're rebirthing into somebody that is maybe a little bit different than the energy you were embodying before. It's not that you have changed within your own value necessarily, but rather you're just going to becoming more empowered and aware of that empowerment. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have Seeds, and that represents new ideas, hope, and open-mindedness. And that kind of feels like maybe if you were to engage with that King of Cups there, and what could be possible between the two of you. But yeah, you could also be getting a lot of new ideas. Maybe Spirit wants you to explore these new ideas. Hope, I think this whole reading has kind of been about giving you that sense of hope, because I think Spirit feels like you need it right now. You might have been going through it, and I think Spirit has kind of wanted to acknowledge that. Like, you're valid for the way that you feel, but also things are about to get a lot better. And then that open-mindedness. So if you stay open-minded to the possibilities, don't try to restrict, don't try to tell yourself that, these things can never happen and blah, 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 blah. Try to keep an open mind and just see how things unfold. You may be very surprised. Also, the open-mindedness may be when considering potential romantic interests or any sort of offer. It's good to be open-minded when those things come through so that you can, so you can grow and so that you can, really enjoy your life. I feel like that's another thing that Spirit wants you to do is like really enjoy life. Because life is meant for us to enjoy, but unfortunately, as human beings, we kind of overcomplicate it, I think. But anyways, Spirit's very proud of you, and you're about to see some really good things. So I hope you believe that. And so that is the reading. I really hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you're able to hear this so I can actually upload it. That'd be fantastic. But anyways, I hope that it resonated. If it did resonate, feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you subscribe, you can become a part of the Hive Collective because my name is Bee. Bees live in hives, and you can become an honorary bee like me, and we can be a little bee family together. If you like my readings and you'd like to see more, be sure to click that bell icon down below so that YouTube actually notifies you the next time that I upload. And thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.